Interpersonal tactile contact is one of the original and basic forms of communication between people. This is why touching between men and women often causes pleasure and even creates a lasting sense of well-being. During this emotional slump, a person can be hypnotized. Hand touching, caressing, cuddling and hugging are important modes of communication. They have a calming effect on people regardless of their gender. Psychologists claim that in such moments, one can successfully begin to develop a close and trusting relationship with a potential partner. American psychologist, specialist in cognitive and experimental psychology, Dr. John Robert Anderson, in his scientific works describes how with a few light touches you can not only arouse interest in a familiar person, but also establish a strong emotional connection with him. I will tell you the most secret places on a woman's body that every man should know about. Believe me, every woman will be 100% aroused if you start caressing her in these secret places. To know more psychology of women, you can watch our playlist. To begin with, it is necessary to overcome the barrier of touch. To do this, a man during communication should several times silently and with sincere sympathy to look a woman directly in the eyes. If the reciprocal look lasts more than 5 seconds, then most likely the potential partner is ready for tactile contact. The next step is the first touch, which should look casual and brief, but still friendly. If the person reacts positively to it, the second touch can be targeted. For example, during the transfer of an object or a treat, you should lightly and gently touch the woman's fingers or wrist, and a few seconds after that timidly look into her eyes. If the reciprocal look will be long and affectionate, then after a while you can realize the most important tactile contact. He should express sincere concern for the partner. When entering a room, boarding public transportation, you should let the woman forward and as a comfortable movement touch her forearm or lightly support it, being behind her back as close as possible, almost touching her with your body. At this point, you should tell the woman warm, pleasant words about what a pleasant fragrance of perfume she has or any other appropriate compliment. After that, the companion will be charmed by the man in question. But this does not mean that now you can touch her breasts, thighs, or back. Such rude actions will ruin all the gains. However, such a built-up charm is able to form and accelerate sexual attraction in a lady. So, how to encourage your companion with a light touch to a warm relationship and unbridled sex? Human skin is littered with closely spaced sensory sensors. And there is a whole science, haptica, engaged in deciphering the data that these sensors receive and transmit. Well, for example, one touch from a person of the opposite sex is enough to turn off the nervous stress response mechanism. Friendly touch leads to the production of endorphins, these natural opiates in our body. The task of the man, to learn to maximize the benefits of this knowledge. In the pad of each finger on the hand about 3,000 touch receptors. Therefore, a light stroking of even the little finger has serious consequences. Try to take your time stroking her fingers. Her reaction will tell you how tonight will end. If you do not seem very attractive to the lady, she will pull her hand away. But if she starts to run her fingers over your fingers in return, consider it your best compliment. According to body language expert Robert Phipps, women openly show their wrists to a man only when they are interested in him as a potential partner. If this is the case, during a conversation at the table, lean slightly towards her and touch her wrist as if by the way. After the touch, did she look at you? That's good. But if the lady is not interested in you, she will clench her fingers into a fist and put her hand on the table. Remember how in the movies they check your pulse by putting your hand to your neck? This very place where the pulse is a terribly erogenous place. Psychologist Becky Spellman advises, in a public place, for example, this technique will do. Whisper something to the young lady in her right ear and at the same time gently touch her neck with your fingers on the left. Unobtrusive and effective. If the girl slightly fidgeted, began to rub the curl, you did everything right. But if she does not like your gesture, she will retreat a step and fold her hands on her chest. That's a sign for you to back off, too. Again, you can tap into her subconscious. Your hand on her shoulder is a gesture of support. The woman feels that you are letting her know you can be relied on, you can be trusted. And she's already in turn snuggling up to you, which means it's okay, keep going. If you touch a woman's back in the right way, she will perceive you as a leader, and women in general like this trait in men, leadership. For example, when in a crowded place sneaking to the exit, a couple of she may not pay attention to it, but you do not panic, it means that she is so normal, comfortable. But if she will skew her hips to get out from under the tutelage, then take it as a given, she is not ready for this. The hardest part is not trying to touch the inside of her thighs. It is important to realize that the legs, unlike the arms, back and waist, are a more intimate place on a woman's body. Starting to touch the legs of a girl, you give her a kind of signal that she is very attractive to you and you are ready with her for something more than just talk and laugh. And now you are getting perhaps the best time to get closer. When the man realizes that the girl likes him too, and there is mutual sympathy between them, then he can try to touch two more intimate places on her body. According to the women themselves, for most of them, touching the hair is the most pleasant. Here everything is more or less clear and simple. It is enough to remove a strand of hair from her face, lightly run it along the ends. The main thing is not to do it for too long, so as not to arouse the girl's suspicion. Your goal is to make the girl feel more feminine and attractive. Take into account the fact that there will be women who will not like your touch under any circumstances. They are certainly a minority, but they will definitely be. And the most important thing? You can kiss behind the earlobe, you can easily nibble. To this option, you need to approach carefully enough. This zone in women is usually the most sensitive, and if you do everything correctly, you will bring her a lot of positive emotions and impressions. Have you heard about the pleasure of paradise? Then she will not forget about you in return. Woman who has received pleasure, this is unlikely to stop. It is better to act the way you like yourself, as it seems acceptable. First of all, it is you. Now I will give you some tips, reveal the secret thoughts of girls. If you do fulfill at least one tip, your woman will be happy. Many women will feel like heroines of beautiful movies about love with sensual bed scenes and will definitely appreciate your initiative. There is always a chance that someone will not like this kind of thing. Then get ready for squeals of your beloved with requests to let go and bring her back to her place. We advise you to write it off as a failed experiment. But the probability that such a venture will fail is small. Even not the most successful sex can bring a lot of impressions and pleasure if it happens in an unusual place. It is not necessary to do it in the elevator, it is enough to move to the kitchen table or in the shower. And if you do not live alone, rent a hotel. You'll feel like you're on vacation. Periodically think about whether the girl likes everything. You can even unobtrusively ask about it a couple times during sex. No one's ardor will be cooled by that. Few things are sexier than a caring and aware man. If your lady saddles you for the 10th time, you are unlikely to get new impressions. Yes, and nothing new about their preferences and each other's bodies will not learn. But if you change the position, everything can be. Even if you are conservative, forget your prejudices for once. Sex toys really do improve the quality of sex, making it many times more exciting. Otherwise, so many gadgets simply would not have been invented for unnecessary. The main thing is to find the device that suits you both. If anything, almost all girls are divided into bullet vibrator lovers and anal plug fanatics. It's a good idea to talk to your lady about which team she's on. It promises to be a fun conversation. Let's be honest, naked, we are as vulnerable as possible, even if we are confident in the attractiveness of our bodies. Therefore, it would be a good idea to cheer up your girlfriend. Dithyrambs for 5 minutes do not need to wind up, it will only tire you out and add to the awkwardness. Just whisper in her ear that she looks great and turns you on. This way you and yourself more aroused, and allow her to behave more relaxed.